Welcome back, Pickler. Today, we're doing another Pickle
Scan
Tickle
the area.
set.
You're already dead.
Hey guys, John Pickle here. And today, I'm going to be covering something a little different from what you'd usually expect. In this video, I'm going to be breaking down the entirety of the renowned Rainbow Six Siege Iceberg. If you're completely unaware and clueless about what an iceberg is, it's what sank the Titanic. If you're wondering what an iceberg chart is, it's a simple to understand and widely popular model used to convey fun facts and hidden secrets about games, movies, books, and other mediums of pop culture. An iceberg chart typically starts with a well-known information at the top before descending into the realm of horror and terror near the bottom. If you've clicked on this video, you're probably very well aware of Rainbow Six Siege and its consequences on the tactical shooter genre as a whole. Two sets of 5 unique, diverse operators face off in a multitude of high-stake, high-drama rounds in a fierce competition of skill and map mastery that requires your absolute fullest attention at all times. To reach the top of the competitive R6 mountain, you'll have to dedicate hundreds, if not thousands of hours into rigorous training and harsh trial and error to even have the potential of entering the upper ranks of professional Siege. Do you think you have a chance? Let's keep it real, bro. Let it go. But even if you do think you know everything about Siege, chances are there's definitely more to uncover inside this Rainbow Six Siege iceberg. Scrapped maps, hidden lore, and dark secrets. There's a lot to cover. So without further delay, let's begin with Layer 1. Now with only a little more ado, I'd like to thank my friend Kaisernut Productions for helping with the idea of this video and also the scripting process. This video would have never existed without him, so I just want to express my gratitude for all his help in this project. And if you guys would be so kind enough, head over to his channel in the description and show him some love. And also for some clarification, there's going to be quite a significant reduction in the amount of editing going forward in this video. So if it's to your liking, go ahead and put this video on in the background to listen to. Otherwise, I'm probably just going to be putting some gameplay over the rest of the commentary in this video. With that being said, thanks for watching, grab your preferred pickle, and I hope you enjoy watching or listening. Peace, picklers. Siege X. Rainbow Six Siege Siege X is the most recent massive update to Siege, completely overhauling many aspects of the game while also adding additional modes, features, cosmetics, and accessibility features to completely change Siege for the better, or for the worse, especially as of late. The map lighting was completely overhauled, and several operators got changed in career-defining ways. On top of this, a new 6v6 mode named Dual Fronts, a mode that spans a wide map with different gameplay elements compared to the traditional 5v5 Siege format, was added into the game. With these changes came much needed controversy that brought more attention to the game than ever before. Old Siege. Old Rainbow Six Siege, typically encompassing a period from the game's launch to around 2020 or so, is commonly viewed with a nostalgic lens by the Siege community, for better or for worse. Some old aspects of Old Siege include darker, more atmospheric lighting, improved matchmaking, and completely different operators like Blackbeard, who sported an indestructible gun shield upon release. In released versions of maps such as House, Clubhouse, and Border, all of which are typically seen as the superior version of those maps by my friends. Old Siege won't be coming back anytime soon, but we can keep it alive through old screenshots, clips, and memes that keep the spirit of old Rainbow Six Siege going forever, no matter what. Spawn Peaks. Spawn peaks are a common feature of many maps in Siege, and are typically utilized by the defending team to score easy kills on otherwise unassuming attackers to gain a quick advantage for the rest of the round, or even the game if it causes a mental collapse. Spawn peaks are viewed by some in a negative fashion, but are mostly regarded favorably by the community as ways to punish hot-headed attackers who disregard tactics and strategy in favor of mindlessly assaulting the defenders without proper precautions. The fact that you can easily counter most spawn peaks with map knowledge also blunts most criticisms against them as simply skill issues. although this is unsourced by many. The Rainbow Six Siege Iceberg. The Rainbow Six Siege Iceberg is a video published by Pickle YouTube channel that deep dives into the uncomfortable truths about Rainbow Six Siege that most people are afraid to cover. Upon release, it was critically acclaimed by the Siege community as a saving grace that helped educate new players and veterans alike on the game's many hidden secrets left behind by the developers that weren't intended to be found. Until now. So let's keep going. Operators. Operators are the main characters, so to speak, of Siege, and they are also the characters you play as in the mission to Siege. Aside from the two default operators, Striker and Sentry, every single operator comes with a unique tool that assists in the effort of taking down the enemy team. These gadgets are varied and resemble different categories depending on the goal of attackers or defenders. Just to give an idea, various attacker gadgets assist in opening reinforced walls, gaining intelligence on defenders' locations, and destroying defender gadgets that slow down the attackers. Defenders have various gadgets that gain intel on attackers' locations, trap the attackers into taking damage or making loud sounds that dispel stealth, and gadgets that heal or protect defenders from damage by the attackers. More often than not, new players to Siege will pick an operator to main. Maining an operator is playing one or two operators on each side, that being attack and defense, in order to stick to proficiency with the ops loadout and gadget, while also obtaining familiarity and comfort to the operator's capabilities. R6 Esports. Rainbow Six Siege Esports is where highly professional teams of players compete amongst each other to annually determine which among themselves is the best Siege team in the world. Usually broadcasted online for millions to watch in events around the globe, with large cash prizes and trophies to raise the stakes and create some incredibly tense and climatic games that live on eternally, even to this day. Some within the Siege community view R6 Esports as a net negative for the game, citing toxic gamer culture and rage moments as moments of uncertainty for Siege's future. Most Siegers do enjoy esports, however. In fact, many Pro League players like Spoit, Stompin, Shiko, and Bolo have had tremendous impacts on the game, community, and the Pro League itself. These players have inspired probably hundreds of thousands of Siege players to play competitively and to better themselves, all in the pursuit of getting good at a video game, with the game questionably being R6. Siege years and seasons. Like every modern live service game, new content in Siege is usually delivered in the form of a free season expansion packs that come out roughly every 3 months, bringing new maps, operators, guns, and even cosmetics to keep the game fresh and alive. Chapters of Siege are usually divided into years of seasons, with the prior season marking the 10-year anniversary of the game's launch, while the first season was the first-year anniversary of the game's launch. Some don't like seasons because they want the content faster. I think the developers probably should be working faster. Maybe 10 seasons a month would be good, but we all know Ubisoft can't do much in terms of working. Ugh. Ranked. Ranked is the primary focus and time sink of the player base. Every single day, thousands of players are nose to the grindstone hoping to see that pretty pink plink of hitting champion for the first time. And for those who have already obtained their mark of honor, those players are either in rank trying to push themselves to the highest champion spot of #1 champ, or these players have reached the point of staring into the abyss, realizing how much time and soul they've put into reaching their rank. At a certain point, you realize you can't go back. A point we will all inevitably reach. So make sure you remember who you are when the time comes. With the first layer completed, we've now established an entry point for our basic knowledge on the Siege base. However, as we begin our descent, things are going to take a more desolate turn. So grab a pickle and hold on tight. Changed operators. Most of the operators we see in Siege today play slightly differently, if not completely differently from how they were upon release. Whether through severe nerfs, buffs, or actual core changes to their identity, these operators on release might as well be entirely separate entities compared to how we know them now. Like I mentioned earlier, Blackbeard's gun shield used to be completely indestructible. This made him one of, if not the best attacking operators purely based on this incredibly broken ability. Other big operator changes include Tachanka having his iconic machine gun removed and replaced with a Party City grenade launcher that nobody likes. It's only good for crematorium strategies. Other changes include Wamai having his skin darkened, Clash being able to put her shield down, and a long list of health, movement, and gun changes to various ops that I could include but don't really want to, for better or for worse. Let's talk about it. Decline of Siege. With the recent release of Rainbow Six Siege X to celebrate the game's 10th anniversary, the game has seen a large influx of players and a flourishing community and competitive scene, for better or for worse. What many people who don't play the game don't know, however, is that Siege experienced a massive decline in both quality and players during a period from 2020 to early 2024. This Reddit on the Siege subreddit perfectly explains why the game experienced such a big decline. The post made by user DBG_Dusty13 had the following to say about the situation of the decline of Siege. I have about 1,300 hours in Siege, and to be honest, it's a great game, but it seems that it's just becoming a cash cow for Ubisoft through their skins and mainly esports. This is pretty true. They want to launch Siege X to try and I guess revive Siege, but let's be honest, who even wanted it? Everyone wanted bug fixes, better anti-cheat, etc., but we ended up with a reworked game that didn't even need to happen. Player numbers have dropped a ton, with the most players seen playing on Steam this year being only 80,000 at one time via Steam charts. It's a great game and can be fixed easily, but to be honest, when Siege X drops, I think it'll be the final nail in the coffin, unless Ubisoft genuinely cares about their player base, which is highly unlikely. Edit. Don't take my post out of context. Like I said twice, Siege is a great game, just backed by a horrible company who had already killed off multiple other games in the past few years. I'm just stating the fact that Siege is at a horrible point right now due to the company's horrible decisions. Fortunately, with the release of Siege X, the game has seen a sharp increase in players that'll hopefully continue to rise with further seasons and content updates. I mean, this is the only shit you play anyway, so I'm sure you'd keep playing it even if it did suck. Oh wait. Everyone hates the game right now. Again, like before, it's over and over. Let's just hope on everybody's soul that this wave of momentum keeps riding, for better or for worse. Siege lore. Rainbow Six Siege isn't typically known for its deep or expansive story, but hidden inside the operator descriptions, map details, and in-game cinematics, we're able to piece together a hidden narrative that explains most of what we've seen playing out before our eyes in-game. It's a very non-conventional story, originally spawning from a legitimate campaign that used to be present in Siege before it was removed, and now resides entirely in the form of background info like some kind of liminal space. Ubisoft also makes installments to the Siege anime every once in a while, but the show is really just a big IMDb nothing burger that's entirely filler. Most people in the Siege community deride the lore behind the game as nonsensical, low effort, and almost entertainingly bad, for better or for worse. Cancelled maps. Like most video games, not all of the content originally developed for Rainbow Six Siege made it into the final game. Operators, guns, buried for fun. But for the sake of continuity, let's focus on some of the maps that didn't make the final cut. Attachments. While attachments in most FPS games are traditionally viewed as a very secondary element to the total gameplay experience, attachments in Rainbow Six Siege are a massive component to the game that can completely change the dynamics of certain operators for better or for worse. These typically come in the form of scopes such as the all-powerful ACOG, which can completely change operators like Ashe, Castle, and Rook who receive them in prior updates. The removal or addition of attachments like the ACOG can cause massive outrage and controversy amongst the Siege community, especially if it completely tips the fragile balance scale in favor or against a particular operator. Especially as of late, some controversial operators sporting the ACOG are Tachanka, Aruni, Goyota, and Doc. Especially Doc because medics always get the short stick and hatred of their privilege. And knowing Ubisoft, they will probably make a decision that the community will love, for better or for worse. Siege Extraction. Rainbow Six Siege Extraction is an online multiplayer spin-off of the original Rainbow Six Siege that focuses on PvE combat against otherworldly alien creatures rather than PvP combat against terrorists. This game was spawned as a result of a very popular event in the original Siege that apparently convinced Ubisoft to create an entire game based around it rather than just adding the event as a permanent game mode into Siege itself. Siege Extraction, while still alive, is mostly seen as a failed venture by many in the Siege community for having bare-bones content, low replayability, and a repetitive gameplay loop coupled with a very derivative story reminiscent of Slender Man. With official support from Ubisoft ending several years ago, it's clear Rainbow Six Siege Extraction is yet another example of Ubisoft overextending their reach with a popular IP to diminishing returns, for better or for worse. If you've learned something new so far, please make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for future uploads. Icebergs are my passion, and discussing creepy hidden details in games for no reason is a dream job for me. Things are only going to get darker and more unknown from this point forward, so make sure to wrap yourself up like a tortilla until you can't move, with a big bowl of snacks to prepare for what's to come. Because now, we're entering the active combat zone.
You've been exposed. Brace for impact.
Siege in Afghanistan. While not officially confirmed at the Game Awards with Jeff Keighley, rumors of the long-lost Siege beta used to train American soldiers in Afghanistan have caused much surprise and intrigue among the Siege community. If you're not aware, America was at war with the Taliban, a former terrorist group now turned official government of Afghanistan, for over 2 decades following the devastating attacks on 9/11 and the subsequent war on terror that came after. This rumored prototype of Siege was supposed to help train American special forces in close quarters combat and hostage rescue during the later stages of the war against the Taliban, with the game reportedly being funded in part by Subway to help popularize their 9/11 Remembrance sandwich and gain good publicity in the wake of their foot-long catastrophe. While not officially confirmed, the prototype was ultimately cancelled in favor of a US Army Roblox game to help train soldiers in constructing settlements and population management. Some consider this to be better than the Siege we have now, but with no way to play the game outside of imagining it in your mind, there's no way to really know for sure, marking this game as one of the biggest pieces of lost media to have ever been discovered, for better or for worse. Real-life Siege. Similar to the previous entry, some in the Siege community have speculated on possible real-life connections between Siege's in-game storyline and events that have transpired in our timeline, more specifically related to the War on Terror and several real-life terrorist attacks that bear a striking resemblance to events in the game for the better. Some have even reported sightings of supposed real-life operators near several military bases and terrorist bases. Although not confirmed, it's strongly suspected that Siege is supposed to portray active combat against terrorist forces, otherwise known as counterterrorism. If true, this would give a lot more credibility to these theories, since counterterrorism makes up a large part of the United States military, not just in the United States, but around the whole globe. Comment down below if you've seen Ash in real life. Other games. While many in the wider Siege community heavily debate this, rumors of other games existing have widely permeated discussions of Siege for years, with the frequency and intensity of these discussions increasing after every particularly bad update. Although not officially confirmed by respected tubers and mods, purported screenshots of Steam libraries with more than just Siege in them have sparked questions about the nature of gaming and what it truly means to be an operator in a world full of hostages. Siege streamers. It's no secret that games in the FPS genre tend to attract streamers and YouTubers far more than other categories of games, with some rising to become the proverbial figureheads of their communities with their gigantic online communities. Siege is famous, or infamous if you ask me, for its much higher volume of well-known creators, even compared to other popular FPS games like Payday 3 and Chasing Chickens. Creators like Jinxie, King George, Marley, Tuxbird, Macy J, and Bolo are just a small handful of the massively populated creators in the Siege community, and are seen as some of the most impactful creators in the space of R6 content. Besides the numerous small creators in Siege YouTube and streaming, there are few Siege creators with a sadder and darker career than those who currently light up the space. One of those creators being a somewhat infamous YouTuber known for their antics and sometimes edgy style of humor, 2Mad. 2Mad was mainly known for his Overwatch Funny Moments compilations, which were held in high regard by the close-knit, humorous community. What many don't know is that for some time in 2018 to 2019, 2Mad was actually a Siege creator who made videos about Rainbow Six Siege, releasing a handful of Siege-related videos that revolved around his gameplay of absolutely destroying people in a meme montage-style fashion. However, for better or for worse, 2Mad unfortunately passed away from a perky overdose on February 13th, 2024, whilst recording for his next Overwatch 2 video. His death had an overall mixed reaction online, with many of his alleged tuber enemies giving chilling remarks in the immediate aftermath of his death, while many of his fans responded with intense grief to the insanely untimely and unexpected death of a well-known content creator and meme father. Another creator known for their highly edited montage-style Siege content was Anthony Pitt 1. Anthony's known for making one of the first Siege channels to blow up in the lifetime of the game. His highly edited, fast-paced videos were a perfect recipe for blowing up. Due to the nature of the age demographic and lack thereof, of fresh invigorating content in Siege during the early seasons. While AP1 went on to make content for more than half of the current lifespan of Siege, he inevitably announced he would no longer be consistently making Siege content a year after his last attempt to consistently upload. He went on to explain in this video that he was struggling with burnout and found himself wanting to focus more on college, understandably so. Next, one of the only YouTubers known to be cancelled for legitimate cause is Pickle. While still being regarded as a highly skilled player to this day, unfortunately, Pickle went on to make a not so well received racially coded remark in one of his TikToks sometime in early 2023. This led to Ubisoft cutting ties with Pickle's content creation entirely, and even removed his in-game weapon charm which he had earned from his previous accumulation of popularity. While his fans don't entirely agree with the decision made by Ubisoft, the short downfall of Pickle goes on as a lesson to all content creators to be careful about your level of maturity, especially when in front of audience and higher-ups. Pickle himself has even gone on to express remorse for his lapse in judgment, and still continues his content creator journey despite a stumble. Some honorable mentions of Dark Siege YouTubers are Evan Braddock, who was highly praised for his informative and creative Siege content, but left the space due to burnout and entrepreneurial endeavors. There is also Basically Homeless, who was banned from Siege for white hat hacking and educationally showing cheats on his account in some videos. During a recording for an Elite Skin advertisement on BH's YouTube channel, his account was banned right before the Ubisoft staff's eyes, which led to an immediate consequential split between Ubi and BH that was never resolved. Basically Homeless continues to produce content outside of the R6 space to this day, and is doing swell compared to some of these other depressing creators. Content creation will always be a mixed bag of inspiring folk and demented people no matter the genre. Of course, this will never stop the content train of Siege as a whole, for better or for worse. Siege meta. Siege has seen numerous metas come and go. Some fun, others terrible. Let's talk about it. Many metas in Siege have revolved around the sights available on guns, like the attachments I was talking about earlier, if you weren't aware. The most prominent metas being the early on Defender ACOG meta and 1.5x meta. The initial ACOG meta is remembered with rose-tinted glasses, due to the availability of the ACOG no longer being possible in Bandit's MP7 and Aaron Yeager's carbine. These were some of the best ACOG weapons of early Siege, due to both of these weapons having a very high fire rate with very low recoil and very prejudiced heritage. The 1.5x meta is to this day looked fondly upon by skilled players who enjoyed the sight's pixel-wide reticle and ability to see surroundings clearly, while those who remember the 1.5x meta as a horrific nightmare are generally considered dogshit at the game. One of the most distasteful metas was the shield meta that came right after the rework of shield operators in the game. This initially allowed shields to force the weak to the ground with a shield bash that has zero counterplay to the immortal shield walking up to bash you in the first place. And if they bashed you after your fall, you would just die. Nowadays, the shield can no longer kill you with a king bash, but still can very easily crack your melon with their pistols, if they still get the initial bash into you. Every meta in Siege has a limited shelf life. However, their impact on the game varies from player to player, for better or for worse. So far, we've begun to unearth the parts of Siege that are hard to look at. The next layer will truly mark the edge of darkness, as we cross into the depths of Siege. Siege is crazy. Let's just get right to the chase. Siege is crazy. Ask anybody who's played this twisted game, and they'll tell you the exact same thing. While sometimes craziness can be funny or cool, in this case, it's not. It's just crazy. Call of Duty. Most gamers who've played Siege understand the game as a methodical tactical experience focused on the mission of securing the site from the ops. However, some rumors, especially recent, have made astonishing claims that Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege is in fact a Call of Duty game. To the outsiders, Siege seems like a game about sieging, which it is. However, recent strategies and theories on TDM meta have gone on to show that the Call of Rumors does in fact have a concrete foundation. Especially since the incorporation of operators with high movement speeds and aggressive full-auto weaponry, many to this day believe that Siege is a team deathmatch game, and even play the game as such to this day. Now, since Siege has taken on the identity as a modern Call of Duty, it's even begun to switch its monetary strategies to those of a Call of Duty game, incorporating crossover skins like Homelander, Rick and Morty, Halo, and many other pop culture IPs. One recent controversy unearthing the dark COD identity of Siege is the recent Masterpiece Valkyrie skin, which totes a fully animated weapon skin that is reminiscent of a Call of Duty bundle skin. This split the community into one side believing that cool skins are A-OK, while the other side detested UB's attempt at yet another cash grab that contrasts negatively with Siege's original identity as military realism tacticalness. Personally, the only reality where I'm okay with $30 skins in Siege is the reality where the funds actually go towards bettering the game. Billion-dollar company, but billions of cheaters. Environmental storytelling. In a game like Siege, many would not expect there to be much of a story, especially an obvious one. And to be honest, there hardly is one at all to begin with. However, there is an easily overlooked aspect that is overlooked by many Siegers, new and old. And there is good reason for this. Just ask Todd Howard, who coined the term environmental storytelling in the hit game show Fallout. The idea is fairly self-explanatory, but I'll give a quick breakdown. Basically, environmental storytelling is just how tales of past events are described or revealed by subtle details in the room around you right now. One of the more prominent maps we can see this on in Siege is Oregon, which, in case you didn't know, I made a full deep dive into the intensely creepy real-life lore behind the map, so go check that out if you want a breakdown. Of course, after the video. Otherwise, I will be giving a brief overview in just a matter of seconds. If you ever decide to take a slow stroll through Oregon, keep an eye out for any children's drawings depicting horrendous monsters in the classroom. Or, you might notice the blatant propaganda posted all over the walls of the map, reminding you that your land belongs to you. The closer you look, the more fear you will find. I highly recommend going to take a look around Oregon for yourself, but make sure you're prepared for unlocking new fears. And to feed your brain, of course. Here are some other maps that we can see some environmental storytelling on. On Bank, we could see evidence of what seems like an attempted robbery. Especially when we go to the basement, we can see clues like the vault door to all the money being wide open, including safety deposit boxes seemingly being looted thoroughly, and huge stacks of money on the table seemingly waiting to be carried away from their beloved home. Clearly the attacker's mission involves protecting the bank's assets, but does that mean that the defenders are pillaging criminals? Guess we all have a dark side. A side that teaches us more about ourselves, for better or for worse. Ties to 9/11. While being a tragic event that shook the nation, the tremors of 9/11 can still be felt to this day inside the very game we all know. Not only did 9/11 beget the war on terror and cascade the global counterterrorism unit movement, it is literally the entire reason Siege exists in the first place. Let's say we were in an alternate timeline where 9/11 didn't happen. Terrorism as we know it probably wouldn't exist, or at least would be a lot safer than how we know it to be. This means the Siege you play and rage over wouldn't even exist. Speaking of alternate timelines, the map plain bears qualities as a tie to 9/11. Perhaps Ubisoft was playing with an idea where the American Airlines flight was stopped before taking off, and sieged by operators to stop a tragedy before it even takes off. Or, if the map was truly inspired by the Lufthansa hijacking, then that means that the Lufthansa inspired the terrorism effort of 9/11, leading to the map of plane as we know it. Lufthansa hijacking was a hijacking performed by Syrian hijackers that were attempting to use the flight as a hostage trading piece to release imprisoned Syrian allies. However, the hijackers were successfully dispatched by West German forces, in case you didn't know, for the better. While the depths are very deep down the pit of the iceberg, we're not quite finished with spelunking for dubious secrets. The time for brine is officially over. Things are about to get real creepy. The secret behind Blackbeard. Look inside Blackbeard's eyes. What do you see? Put aside his skin color for a second and take a look at him for what he is. A man hiding a dark, twisted secret. His shield might protect him from bullets, but it also protects him from those looking to uncover the real truth behind those big black glasses of his. What kind of secret could possibly lurk within a random siege operator, you might ask? Well, if you know, you know. But for those who don't know, let's just say Blackbeard knows how to get it poppin' when nobody wants him. House Secret Room. House is most definitely one of, if not the most iconic map in all of Siege. After all, House was the first map the Pioneer Siegers ever laid eyes on since E3 2014, and the same map that captivated so many players with its homeliness. As many veteran Siege players are aware of, the current version of House is not the version we all started out with. Unknown to many, House actually launched in a completely different format compared to the reworked version of House we have this very day. And to this day, House is only a figurative Party City grenade launcher compared to the big-ass LMG it was back in its glory days. Many veterans agree that Old House was peak, and the majority of the Siege player base followed this sentiment. However, what many people don't treat nostalgically is the dark secret about Old House few choose not to remember, and what even fewer choose to remember. You see, Old House consisted of 3 floors of objectives: the basement, first floor, and top floor. And this also remains true on the reworked version of the map. However, there is one floor in Old House that we never truly understood: the attic. Back then, we only worried about one thing: the bomb site and how do we get it. But few actually thought to question, what about upstairs? The few brave enough to question the assumption of a solid ceiling were left gasping for air mentally, as there was no clear way to traverse into the attic as an operator. Despite the knowledge being forever unattainable, cause the map's gone, we are still left with one unsettling question. What is left in the attic of the house? And even worse, why did the devs forbid us from seeing it for ourselves? Nobody knows, only fantasies entertain what is possible. But personally, I think that it's better left to only God knowing. We probs don't want to know, for better or for worse. Ghosts in Siege. Siege is certainly not regarded as a horror game by any means. The only exception is when a player is startled by a push or unexpected death and jokingly remarks that the jump scare was like if Siege was actually a horror game. While the occasional jump scare is generally accepted and written off by many players, what if I told you that Siege has entities and even existential horror written into the game? The secrets the dead hold have been right under your nose and even right under the sight. If we take a trip to theme park, here you might notice a paranormal abnormality that is generally disregarded by most people. Here, on the first floor of the arcade, we can see an arcade cabinet that has a Plat 2 icon on the side of it. Not so weird? Well, if you take a closer look, the Plat 2 icon we can see here is actually a no longer used icon in the game. The current Plat 2 icon has been modernized since the addition of Emerald Rank. So what is this doing here? The truth is, this icon belongs to the dead. A player who tragically died of cancer was immortalized into the game by the Ubisoft devs in order to honor his achievement of Plat 2. His soul and siege accommodations now live on forever within a digital arcade cabinet, forcing the player to live on in a sadly, generally disliked map. Kinda like that Lemon Demon song. Some might see this as cool, but how would you feel if you were forced to roam the halls of an instantly banned map in most lobbies? It would probably get lonely. And the only one to keep you company are siegers that don't even know about you. Whatever. I will admit, it is a unique fate, for better or for worse. US Army connections. Siege is a game about being in the army. The in-game army is responsible for the sieges that Team Rainbow Six trains to carry out. Now, as we all know, sieges happen in the game R6 Siege. That being said, sieges apparently don't solely partake within the game's siege. The US Army was known for sieging Afghani homes during the war, which led to numerous tactics and stories being developed for sieges in the real world and digital world. One of the most awesome stories were when Osama bin Laden got his house sieged by SEAL Team 6, like R6, which directly inspired turning the awesome story into a video game. The US Army also lended operators like Blackbeard and Valkyrie into the game digitally as a token of gratitude for supporting US patriotism. This inevitably increased relations between the US and Canada, as Ubisoft ended up single-handedly resolving the tariffs imposed by Lord Emperor Trump. Although Siege is a game about sieging, I think that Ubisoft Montreal's anti-cheat needs to be sieged. Siege it so we can delete it, and then tariff the new Valkyrie skin so that Americans get it for free. America, for better or for worse. Real terrorists in real life. If you are a longtime Siege player, you may remember a time where the named threat in Siege were the White Mask terrorists. They could be seen in the original tutorial missions for the game called Situations, including a unique multiplayer situation called Article 5. They are also remembered mostly by their appearance in the original map training mode Terrorist Hunt, which veteran players used to warm up their crosshair placement. While the White Masks seem to be old vaulted content, an unsettling truth comes with their existence in the Siege timeline. The terrorists we see in the game are not the first of their kind. All kinds of terrorists have terrorized the global population in an effort to spread terror. This means that not only do terrorists keep operators up at night, they also keep many real operators in an infinite terrorist hunt 24/7. We could see this in the war following 9/11, as the US military didn't sleep for over 20 years while hunting down the enemies of terror. Terrorists are a waking nightmare, but that's why we have operators to keep the lights on and fend off the darkness, for better or for worse. Hidden music. While most people listen to modern pop artists like Jelly Roll and King Von while they siege, few are aware of the built-in hidden music operators enjoy while protecting or rolling into a site. Just to name a few, in the basement of Consulate, we can hear a pretty groovy beat with even its lyrics providing a flow state enhancements to the operators on site. On the first floor of house, next to the kitchen, we can find a soothing melody coming from a jukebox that has the potential to distract attackers into a dance party. Even maps like Coastline and Cafe have their own unique music boxes that play a song that's similar to the style of the map. So the next time you're on these maps, keep your ears peeled for a new banger to add to your sieging playlist. Everyone's got their own taste, and I promise there's a song for everyone, for better or for worse. Siege aliens in real life. Aliens overall are generally disregarded as pillow talk for the loonies. However, due to the high controversy of alien existence in real life, the talk of aliens in Siege has grown in popularity over recent seasons. Many peg sightings in Siege as just rumors, but from time to time, the evidence is undeniable. Every year, about once a year, a slew of aliens can be spotted on a specific map in Siege. The aliens are known to take on the appearance of popular operators like Kavera, Iana, Nomad, and Thermite, with slightly altered appearances. The aliens have been seen fighting an army of robots on Skyscraper, which the aliens make as their home for the time of their stay. Many try to ignore this by saying they're not really aliens, but to be honest, these people really just don't want to do their research. Ugh! Clearly they don't have features capable of a normal humanoid. Just closely examine their appearance next time they come around, which in fact is very, very soon. Their appearance is not just tangible, it's real. Now that we know what aliens look like, If you see an alien, tell someone about it. That way we can give them rights before they take ours, for better or for worse. I hope you aren't too creeped out after hearing these topics. If you've made it this far, congratulations, Pickler. We are about to unearth the dead and buried site of Siege few have laid eyes on. It's time to take a look at the Siege they didn't want you to see. Siege cancellation. Not only is this topic deeply unsettling for most Siege enthusiasts, but with recent scares like mass cheating and dropped player numbers since the Siege X launch, causing mass panic, this has been officially reclassified as terrifying. In around mid-2022, Siege was hitting Pac-Man level player counts that had never been seen before, or at least in a very long time, for seemingly depressing reasons. The game was dragging along the ocean floor, with shit-filled ops and Ubi's predatory monetary strategies had become absolutely loathsome to the community. Right when the game seemed on the verge of the abyss, one of the proclaimed saviors of Siege entered the content space, Jinxie, and Jinxie seemingly breathed fresh life into the game, showing the depressed Siege fans just how fun the game could still be if you weren't bawling. While Jinxie heavily increased morale for the game during this time, it naturally couldn't last forever, leading to a crusty game environment. Now, at this moment of time in 2025, Operation Daybreak has had a massive surge in reported cheaters, leading many to wonder what the hell Shield Guard is even doing anyway. It's hard to say this, but the future of Siege seems uncertain. Will Ubisoft drag this out till an inevitable cancellation, or will the game be saved when we need it most? At this point, the future of Siege is devastating for better or for worse. Leaked content. Leaks are nothing new to Siege, especially with the uprising of a channel named Keon Chopper that has given many accurate game leaks months ahead of time. Whoever this guy has on payroll clearly knows a thing or two about what Ubi's working on, which leads to more questions about the company's integrity, but I digress. While Chopper's leaks are mostly exciting, I'm here to drop some leaks that will leave you pretty creeped out. One of the discussed leaks is a suspected racial quota on new operators in Siege. Obviously, there are a lot of Caucasian operators in Siege, which is fine, but why are there so many kinds of races? I bet you've thought of this before, and the reason comes from a leak detailing the boardroom and operator development. Basically, they are trying to keep the roster diverse to appeal to new players. This is alright, cause we want more operators. But who at Ubi is responsible for this decision? That has unfortunately not leaked, but it might be one of the Clintons. Another leak is that the Doc is going to get nerfed. Yup, the Doc. They're going to take his ACOG and his race-given privileges because Ubisoft hates the Geneva Convention, in order to appeal to a younger, too cool for school audience. Since the US left NATO, Ubisoft Montreal wants to still be cool enough to hang with the US. So this seems to be the route they're going. Kinda deplorable. After all, we all love a cracked, low-recoil ACOG weapon on defense, and them taking this away comes across as a way to silence the public. And honestly, if this leak is true, it's basically a confirmation of the cancellation. Don't believe every leak, just start shaking it. Siege on the Switch. Rumors of Hiroyuto Miyamoto, president of Nintendo, being a massive Siege fan have sparked intrigue amongst the Siege community for a possible Siege drop on the Nintendo Switch 2. Obviously the Switch is just for kids, so this would just never work. But the possibility of Mario and the Koopas fighting alongside our beloved operators has breathed new life into the Siege community, even as Ubisoft tears everything asunder. Super Mario Bros. Was released on September 13th, 1985, to mass critical acclaim, propelling Nintendo's status into household name territory, while simultaneously reviving video gaming as a whole with feverish delight. Rainbow Six Siege isn't a Mario game, that's for freaking sure alright, but with the game currently in dire straits after dozens of back-to-back failures, who knows what future lies for Super Siege Bros. Maybe we'll be saving hostages from the Mushroom Castle, or defeating waves of evil Goomba terrorists. All on the Nintendo Switch 2, hopefully. But I guess we'll never know. for the better. Creepypasta. Creepypasta, a combination of the words creepy and copypasta, is commonly used to refer to a widely shared internet horror story, mostly of the amateur variety. If you've grown up around or with the internet, and were at least tentatively exposed to horror on the internet, then chances are you've either read or watched someone read a creepypasta sometime in the last 15 years or so. Slenderman, Ben Frowned, Squidward's Vacation, Creepy Sonic, Creepy Mario. What else do I have to say? Creepypastas have been an integral part of many of our childhoods growing up on the internet. And while they certainly have declined since their peak relevance, they still remain an important component of internet culture, even a decade removed from their glory days. Let me know what creepypasta is your favorite, and make sure to recite it word for word in the comment section below, if you really, really like it. What happened to Siege? What happened to Rainbow Six Siege? Will we ever know? Probably not. But various theories emerging from within the Siege community have attempted to rationalize what possibly would have happened to a game beloved by so many. Was it the Democrats? Was it a massive F5 tornado? Was it for better or for worse? We might never truly know what happened to Siege. But you know what? Maybe what happened to Siege is the friends we made along the way. I'll drink all night to that, for better or for worse. Ubisoft collapse. Ubisoft is literally collapsing and is about to explode. Now, that might seem a little dramatic considering how they still remain a big player in the video game industry despite constant repeated setbacks. But don't get it twisted. Ubisoft is collapsing, and the sooner you realize it, the sooner you'll be able to recover from all your favorite operators turning into ash and dust. Will Ubisoft ever be able to bounce back from this? No, let's be honest. Things have been going downhill since Assassin's Creed Pirates World, and at this point, it might be irreversible. With cheaters, thugs, and sweats decimating any hopes of a massive Siege comeback, I think it's better we come to terms with the fact that the Ubisoft we once knew is completely dusted. It's time we invest in more consumer-friendly companies like Electronic Arts and Nestle. Maybe they'll even buy the rights to Siege and make Siege 2 with better everything. As things stand now, however, it's all just collapsed. With that being said, now that we've seen the truth, it's time to face the ultimate truth you've been hiding from. Siege is done for. The Siege House. The act of sharing a house to reduce a financial burden is rarely uncommon, but so is the tension and headaches that come from sharing a house. In Siege, we can piece together a glimpse at what living in a potential Siege house would be like based on the evidence we can gather from certain maps in the game, but especially Coastline. Here, in certain rooms of the map, we can see some evidence of freaky activity, like the hookah site. Clearly some dubious shit went down in here, as everyone knows that a room full of crackheads can go south pretty quickly, if you know what I mean. In a freaky way. And there's also the VIP room, which raises some concerns due to the name. If the VIPs were meant to come to this room, what do you think they did with their privacy? Probably got pretty freaky, huh? This would make sense since there are real-life evil people like this. People like P. Diddy would probably love a room like this, cause he only has freak-offs and private estates. Even worse, Epstein would probably adore this site setup. I mean, the whole map is on an island. Ubisoft would probably be calling this map Layer 2 if Epstein staked his claim on the coastline. While this is all speculation, imagine that if there were a house in Siege that would be like the Diddy house, it would most definitely have to be the coastline. Siege YTPs. YouTube poops, commonly shortened to the acronym YTPs, are a classic form of internet memes and saw a massive surge in popularity during the late 2000s and early 2010s on YouTube. YTPs are funny remixes of shows and popular videos with a style of editing that is honestly hard to describe, but you will find many reference character voice lines from the Super Mario Bros. Show and Legend of Zelda show in any YouTube poop. What few YouTube poopers are aware of is the attempted integration of YTP operator trailers into Siege. After experienced data miners were mining away sometime during Operation Health, they came across a folder named operators_trailers_YTP-RE, the RE standing for remix. Inside the folder were all of the original operator trailers, but YouTube poopified. I will now show you one of the leaked YTP operator trailers recovered by data miners.
When you mix big fucking metal oxide and metal in just the right way, it burns at 9,000 degrees Celsius. Hot enough to cut through nearly any barrier known to the Mushroom Kingdom.
For some reason, Ubisoft was heavily considering adding these versions of the trailers as an Easter egg or even for an event for quite some time. But for some unknown reason, YTPs never were found playing in the live game. Maybe Ubisoft thought they would spark too much controversy. In my opinion, there's still time for Ubisoft to make the YTP event in Siege. We could maybe even get a meatball skin for Maestro, or something else cool. Comment down below if you watch YTPs, cause Ubisoft will start up production again if enough of you guys agree. The Siege Incident. For your own health and safety, I'd advise you to put your hands on your ears and scream, la 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 la, because chances are you are not ready to hear this. If you really want to know, then, well, let's just say, hypothetically, an incident involving Ubisoft's marketing team and let's just say a controversial figure invoked a huge negative reaction from the community a couple years back. According to sources close to the situation, an attempt was made by a rogue Ubisoft employee to add a skin resembling a well-known political figure from Central Europe as a playable skin for Blitz, with some experienced Siege reality experts even going so far as to claim that they were attempting a digital resurrection of the figure. Unfortunately, I'm afraid to say anything more out of fear that YouTube or even society will terminate me. But I believe in the astute picklers to dig down deep to find the truth, for better or for worse. Disabled operators. From time to time, Ubisoft will disable certain operators or make them unplayable in order to prevent players from taking advantage of an exploit with the operator's gadget. For example, Castle was recently disabled in Operation Daybreak due to an exploit where a player could crash everyone's game in a ranked lobby, just by placing and destroying his barricades over and over again. This would be utilized by certain undesirable players to dodge losing a ranked match, which led to Ubisoft making the decision to disable Castle completely. While disabling operators from play is a tool used by the devs, I'm here to talk about truly disabled operators. Starting with Scopos. Although we don't get to actually see her, she is canonically disabled in the lore. She lost control of her legs due to a crazy war incident and has been sentenced to the wheelchair ever since. Fortunately, with the help of GoFundMe, she was able to crowdfund 2 robots to do everything for her. And now she's been able to re-enter active service even though she's technically undeniably disabled. Another disabled operator who uses robots to get the upper hand is Aruni. Aruni lost her arm in a wood chipper incident, but was awarded a new cyborg arm to punch big fucking holes and shoot lasers. I'm pretty jealous of this, and I would easily stick my arm in a few holes if I could get a bigger, browner finger and a mantis blade. Other than that, there's no other operators on the roster that are actively disabled as far as we know. But rumors of some mentally disabled operators have made their rounds around the Siege community, for better or for worse. Alright, we are approaching the final depths of the iceberg. I'm surprised we made it through the sheer terror together, Pickler. But ever since you passed basic training, I knew you were a Sieger for the journey. But with that being said, We won't be spending long on this layer, because it's time to shit your pants and run!
What are you doing?
I don't know what I'm doing!
What are you doing around in circles?
Ah! Shit! Fuck me! Shit! What the fuck?
Ash is a Democrat. While politics are mostly left out of Siege, in this case, they're not. In case you weren't aware, Ubisoft, or more specifically the team at Ubisoft responsible for working on Siege, has made their stance on politics clear by declaring a clear favor for liberal woke ideology. This is clear with their decision-making regarding certain operators in lore, like Flores being gay and Azami being an ABG lesbian. They also decided to incorporate popular SJW stylings like Ella's haircut and a keyboard warrior character like Scopos. While most Siege players don't have a problem resisting the game's bias and forming their own opinion, the controversy surrounding Ash may lead you to see things from a unique perspective. You see, Ash is an Israelite operator who was exchanged into the FBI SWAT due to international exchange opportunities. Yes, Ash is Jewish. So is her mom. Anyways, it's no secret that the United States Republican Party has always had close ties with Israel, which is why you'd think Ash is a smoking babe who loves to shoot guns and drink beer with Donald Trump. If you thought this, then you're dreaming, bud. Unfortunately, Ubisoft has decided to put a spin on politics in the Siege universe. While based on appearance you'd think Ash is Republican, she is, in fact, a liberal. Yup. Sorry boys, she's for the streets. Anyways, you might wonder why she's a liberal. She participated in the Avenging Argentinian movement and took in Flores, offering him asylum in the United States. For some reason, this was a great idea because he continued to rob people after he moved to LA. Another interesting Democrat fact about Ash is why she hates Callie. Callie is from India, so she loves to watch T-series during the drone phase. One incident between the two is cited from a report given by Habana on a team exercise leading up to one of the Siege Cup tournaments. During one of the rounds of the scrim, Callie was reported to be on her phone during the drone phase. Reportedly, later in the round, Ash was attempting a rush onto site, but got eliminated because she claimed that Callie wasted her drone by leaving it in spawn. This led to a TK battle the next round, resulting in a victorious Callie, which left Ash tilted and throwing for the rest of the team building exercise. Now, why does this make her a liberal? Well, she gets tilted easily like a liberal, she claims a lack of teamwork, and she blames Callie for her L. Yeah, that's convincing enough for me. So before you pick Ash next time, make sure you know who you're really picking. I'm not advocating hate for Democrats, just make sure you do your research, for better or for worse. Slender Man. Slender Man is a terrifying internet monster originally spawned from a series of allegedly real 2009 photographs that later inspired the infamous John Slender to develop a game revolving around the mythos of Slender Man. Slender Man, a pale white guy in a brown suit, is often depicted as a monster who kills, kidnaps, and often brainwashes his victims, leaving them with lifelong nightmares and a shattered mental state. He's also known for inspiring the classic Slender Gangnam Style dance. Slender Man is, without a doubt, a massive icon in internet horror spaces. But how does he tie into Siege? While Slender Man himself hasn't officially been spotted in Siege yet, that doesn't mean he isn't looking to get you. To be honest, he's heart-pounding enough to be at the end of any iceberg, and also deserves to be on every iceberg, which is why he's on the Siege X iceberg. The only other known connection between Slender Man and Siege comes from an infamous Siege X news video, where a distressed and manic Siege fanatic navigates the infamous John Slender game while attempting to deliver crucial Siege X information. If you dare to learn more about Slender Man and his disturbing Ubisoft connections, watch that video right after this for a nut-dropping experience. Slender Man is scary. That much is obvious to any real man. But this final bombshell This is going to drop your shorts and spread you open. And I ain't talking about no buns. Siege is real. If you've made it this far, congratulations, because this is the final map-shattering secret we'll be uncovering today. Now, for better or for worse, here it is. The truth is, Tom Rancid Rainbow Six Siege, Siege X Edition, is in fact in real life. Yep, the Rainbow Six Siege as you know it is not just limited to the digital space. And I'm not talking about the US Army connections or anything like that. We already talked about that malarkey. Siege, the Operators, the Terrorists, the Kiers Legion, Nighthaven Labs, Oregon, the Maps, the Craps, the Scares, Harry R6, Frostmats, Giant Rats, Cheaters, Beaters, In-Game Leaders, ACOGs, Giant Hogs, Nitrocells, Baby Oil, and Sam Fisher. They all exist or have counterparts to this reality. Don't believe me? Well, let's take a closer look at the science. Quantum mechanics, or something like that, claims that our universe is just one reality among millions, billions, and gorillions of other universes. This means it's mathematically impossible that there isn't an alternate gaming universe, like ours, where the Operators roam and the Terrorists plant every single day. It's their reality and ours. One where we share the idea of siege in every existential state possible. Under your bed, there's siege. In your TV, there's siege. In your mom's room, there is siege. Rainbow Six Siege is unfolding all around us, every single day of our hostage lives, and we don't even know it. Alright, now let that information sink in. It's okay, I can wait. Okay, well, the sinking in will take a long time, but now you have begun to understand. With this last truth nuke, all of the secrets, both light and dark, have been firmly etched in the walls of your mind forever. I hope your appetite for learning has finally been sated, and I hope that some of this forbidden knowledge has armed you for the fight against the terrorists that lurk around each and every corner. Remember, we each have a diffuser to plant in our own lives, so don't let the clock run out, brother. Well, that was a long one, wasn't it? Instead of congratulating you like I would for making it to the end in any other of my videos, I'm going to wish you luck with carrying the burden of all the knowledge and dark secrets I just dropped on you. So, good luck with that. On a serious note, thank you for making it this far and watching the video until the end. This is a feat not many novice picklers have achieved, and I offer my utmost gratitude to you for surviving such a perilous journey in one piece. I hope this video made you laugh, or at least helped you numb the existential dread we all feel sometimes. But don't worry, fellow Pickle. We all have our time to soak in the brine. Make sure you give yourself time to do so, and let others do their thing too. Alright. That's about it. Please go check out my brother-at-arms, Kaisernut's channel. He's the reason this Iceberg exists at all, so please go support him into the millions. And remember to stay tuned in to the John Pickle channel for more briny content. The Pickle train is on the way without any delay. Thanks for watching. Stay briny, and peace be with you, Picklers. Shoo.